What's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to Mindscapes with PsynOpticz Records. And today we have in the studio Dan Scot from Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome to the studio, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah,
welcome.
Nice to have you, man. So, first questions like we always kind of ask everyone that's been on the first few editions of Mindscapes is, where did you come from? Why is your interest in psytrance music where it is at today? Go for it.
Great. So, like Colvin said, I'm from Cape Town, born and bred. Whole mother side of my family is Scottish, so I'm half Scottish, half South African, you could say that. So I basically come from a musical background. All the years, music has always been a very big part of my life. You know, my dad was in a band. Growing up with a Scottish family, lots of music around. And then obviously started getting to the age where I was attending parties, festivals, seeing a DJ for the first time. And then seeing that, I was like, I need to do this. I need to get in, know how to do this, know how to play, seeing the way an artist controlled a crowd and how the dance floor reacted. I knew then that this is something I need to do. So it started off with techno. I love techno, I still do. And then getting into festivals and hearing psytrance for the first time, I'm like, wow, this I really need to get into, the energies, the layers of the music. And started getting into it, started practicing, buying my own gear. And one thing led to the next, getting into gigs, and then years down the line, this is where I'm at,
Okay. You said you grew up with a lot of music. Did you play any musical instruments?
No, I never. I was in school. I started playing piano, believe it or not. But with my short, fat fingers, it just wasn't going to work. So that ended very quickly. And then, so never got into any instruments, no. Started on vinyl. I had about 4 months playing bedroom on vinyl. And then at that time, vinyl kind of left, and then the introduction of the CDs and CDJ100s came.
What age did you start on vinyl?
I must have been about 17.
Okay.
So about 16, 17.
And techno then, or what genres were you mixing around with?
Back then there was, I would say techno, but not the techno we know now. There was a lot of EDM at the time. So a lot of my practicing was on EDM, electro, that kind of thing. And
Hard house?
Hard house was Hard house was a very, very big part of my upbringing. So, the likes of like Alistair Whitehead, Danny Rampling, John Digweed, that kind of hard house, trance, Northern Exposure, Carl Cox. That was very, very big part of my raving days, you could say that.
Just Paul Glasby, Lisa Lashes, and Savage.
Those were all massive names, massive names. There's a place around the corner here called 3 Arts, which now is a shopping center. And years ago, it was a massive venue that was used by Farside, which was huge to do, as you know, was to do the big raves. So now it's a shopping center, and my son turns around and says, "Oh, I know 3 Arts." And in my head, I'm like, "There's no ways." He goes, "It's a shopping center." I'm like, "You know that your dad used to draw there years ago."
Well, same as what's a dockside is a church now.
Exactly.
They're cleansing all evil spirits.
Exactly. So it's really great how these venues change to become what they are. But back in the day, it was what it was, that was, getting back to, that was, how I started was EDM, and it was on vinyl, and I left, and then 100s came about, and it was still EDM, and then I started moving my way over to techno, leaving hard house into techno, and that was really great until I actually went to my first festival, Psytrance festival, and that's when it clicked. I'm like, no, this is where it's at. This. It was almost like this calling,
What was your first festival you went to?
First festival, I think it could have been a bear trap. I think it could have been a bear trap, and I think that was at the Quarry. There was a quarry that happened in Villiersdorp.
Yeah.
That was mind blowing. And then there was the collective parties that happened down at Cool Bay, in Gordons Bay on the beach. That
What
was
years
also.
was this?
Geez, that would have been, I think that was 2000 something. That could have been 20, no, I lie. I think that could have been 2008, 2009, 2010.
Okay, cool.
Around about there. So that was really, really big for me. That was the turning factor where I really need to start getting into this. And then I just started, then I said, right, the only way for me to get into this was to actually do a mix. And at the time, it was progressive. So where I started going in, to me, I find progressive was always the stepping stone. And then progressive, eventually, you can only have so much of it. And then I thought, but I need more, I need faster. And then so I started moving up and
200
growing.
BPM, 250.
Yeah, no, at the moment my sweet spot is like 147, 148.
Okay.
But I mean, back then when you're doing progressive, it was like 135s, 138s. And I know progressive is still 138, sometimes 140, even faster. But to me, I just needed something with more layers. I wanted more energy. I mean, look, I still love progressive. It always has a special place in my heart. But I have different places in my heart set up for different genres, And so, yeah, I mean, it's, and then obviously going from 100s, then selling on 100s and getting 200s and selling 200s and eventually moving over to a controller. And I sold the controller, went back to CDJs. So, I'm constantly evolving. And to me, that's a very big thing with any artist, whether you're producing or DJing. I find you need to constantly evolve. You can't stay in one place. Ears change, music changes, production changes, dance floor changes. You got to change with it, because if you're going to stick, I find if you stick to your same self as you were 10 years ago, you're not really progressing, And then, then the boredom sets in, not just from your dance floor, but you as an artist, you're going to get bored of that. So to constantly evolve for the better and what works that's a big thing for me.
Okay, awesome. And any tips for new DJs that are like trying to learn how to DJ, from turntables to CDJs to you're also DJing on laptop as well with a controller? Tips from guys like pretty much how to get their ears in, what software to use, what can you recommend for?
For anyone learning to DJ, I would say the most important thing is, besides the obvious, and that's obviously being able to beat match. Once you've got the beat matching out of the way, then the real journey starts. And while you're learning to beat match, you have to learn to use your ear. So I find a lot of new guys getting into it now. They're going to buy a laptop and buy a controller, and everything is done for them on the software. But software isn't always right. Software can also make an error. You're going to need to know how to fix that using your ear if a beat is slightly off. So using your ear would be the first tip. That would be anyone learning, take 20 tracks that you love. Handpick 20 tracks that you love. You're going to be obviously learning in your bedroom or wherever. Take 20 tracks that you love and work on those 20 tracks and play and replay those 20 tracks, beat mixing with your ear without looking at a screen. Or, look at the BPM counters if you need to. But use your ear and be able to tell the difference, which track is faster, which track is slower, which track needs to be sped up or slowed down, Once you can use your ear, you can basically be thrown in any environment. But there's going to be a time that you're going to get a booking and you'll be on stage and there won't be a monitor, or there's something is going to happen that is going to take you out of your comfort zone and you're going to have to rely on your ear or putting your headphones on, being able to mix in your headphones. That to me, I think would be the biggest tip. And also if you're learning, there's a whole world of music out there, millions of tracks out there, and it can get overwhelming if you're going to try and take 100 tracks and trying to learn how to play. Simplify it, get to know 20 tracks back to front. Once you know that, you can start piecing together on key mixing, which for anyone who doesn't know, that would be the flow of your tracks. It doesn't mean that tracks beat, match, and run at the same speeds together, that they're in beat, they're in sync, and that doesn't mean that those tracks work together. Each track has a certain energy, which we call key, and once you learn that, and you can get the flow, that is where the true art That's where the true art form comes. That's where you create your journey and you take people on your journey and tell your story through that music.
Yeah. What I used to do as well is, I started on vinyl as well, is I would mix different genres because then there's no rules. So, like, you know, when you're DJing digital software or same as a CDJ software, then you're all working with like some psytrance within a certain BPM range, 0.7 rule, you know?
Yeah.
But with vinyl, you never had that. And what helped me a lot was mixing like from drum and bass to breaks to psy to like hip hop, and like completely there's no like place that you can stay within the same BPM. It's like completely changing. And that made me literally listen completely. Where's that kick? Or am I mixing with on the percussion? Like, how am I playing with it, you know?
Yeah.
Because guys also find that they're like, I want to play this genre. And then, like you say, go and get a controller and the software does all the stuff for them. And then they're not actually feeling that music, right?
Correct.
They're just like, cool. Like, it's already analyzed the track, the beat grid's on, gonna play it and make this loop and this. And it is cool because the amount of you can now do more than what we could do on just a set of vinyl, you know?
No, absolutely.
Which is an epic, because I watched some guys doing these like, I don't know, it's okay, that's a drum, it looks like a drum pad, the AKM. Akai or
the AK-40, I think it is.
AK-40, I was going to say. And guys are like taking loops and stems and like they're making their own music from other people's music.
Yeah, and then they're looping it and it makes a complete different sound.
Which is insane. You know? Like I watch those things and I'm like, that's just insane.
Yeah.
Like remembering, first of all, like which buttons are which loops and like...
Yeah.
It's...
I mean, obviously it takes a lot of practice.
That takes a lot of practice and crazy, but that's not... DJing, that's like mashup. What is it called? Like mashup DJ producing.
Yeah,
I don't know what is it like.
No,
it's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of cool tips for guys that are wanting to get into this. I think that's a really good thing for people to understand. You know, it's like utilizing their ear.
No, absolutely. To me,
not
it's
just
the most
watching
important.
Waveforms.
No, exactly. No, to me, it's the most important thing is using your ear. But so many times I've been thrown in that situation where software, where a beat is slightly out. I mean, you could look for argument's sake tractor. You can look and you look on the screen, and what it's telling you is that it's in. And I listen to my ear, and I'm like, it's not in. And then you test it in your headphones. You can clearly hear those beats are out. So then what do? Do you just go ahead and play that live? No, you need to fix that. And
so go reset the grid and like
either reset the grid, or depending what, if you're using an X1 controller with the software, whatever controller, if you've got jog wheels, you're going to have to retard or advance that track. Even though the track is going to tell you it's off, you need to be able to use your ear. So if you're just going to follow the software and you're going to go and play that live, your audience is going to hear that it is out. So
do you like playing your preference on your controller, or do you go HID into the CDJs? For people who don't know, HID is plugging your laptop into the mixer or to the CDJs and like using the software on the CDJs, but linked to a computer, so you can actually utilize the mixer and the CDJs, you know, from your computer. Do you like doing that, or do you just like playing on your controller and feeling, obviously you safe, because I've played on so many gigs where the CDJs and mixers doing like random stuff, and then like you're stuck in that situation where you just have to push through it, you know?
Yeah. No, look, I've got both ways. So I can either use the CDJ 3000 or the 2000 with USBs, which I've started doing of late. I've started doing a lot of where it's, if it's a club gig and I'm inside a club, I don't want to lug around my laptop and my X1 controller and all that. So I'll just rock up with my USBs and I'll use the club's gear. That's one side of it. Years ago, I used to play, like you were saying earlier now, with HID mode, where you would be able to plug your USB cables from your laptop into the CDJs. That would then turn the CDJ into like a MIDI controller. So you would still be able to use the CDJ as a CDJ, but it's reading off the software. So you still need to play, pause, cue it up, set your BPM sliders.
Which is nice for people that actually like that feeling. Like I like the feeling of the CDJ, you know. They're still in vinyl mode. So I feel like you have more more tactical.
No, that's more hands-on, basically, yeah. And I found I quickly got off that because Pioneer, the program, the software that was needed for that to run correctly was very glitchy. They never really got it right. So sometimes it would work, and then sometimes it wouldn't work. And the last thing you want is that having to deal with that stress of that not working when you're about to play and you've got an audience in front of you. It's super stressful. So it was never stable, you know. So I got, when it worked, it was great, but like I said, it wasn't stable. So I got off that very quickly. So the way I play now at the moment, if I play at a festival, if it's a festival or a really, really big gig, I take my laptop and I use an X1 Mark II controller. The X1 Mark II controller controls purely the software, and then from my laptop I go into the mixer. So I'm using the mixer sound card instead of using my Audio 6 sound card. So I'm using the sound card of the mixer, so I'm still doing all the mixer work. It's just a feed from Tractor coming out of the laptop, obviously, into the mixer. That is my most comfortable, preferred way. The reason why I use my laptop at a big festival is that I have my whole music collection on my laptop. So I'm very versatile. I don't come with a pre-made up set of tracks that I want to play. I'll have a folder with a whole lot of tracks that I want to play at that festival that I like, that I feel is going to work. However, I can deviate from that. If I see the dance ones not liking this, I can change. Where USB, yes, you have a lot of tracks, but to me, I find flipping through folders on the CDJ, you know, I find it's easier for me to find the tracks. Sometimes, believe it or not, I might even forget a track. I have the sound in my head, and for the life of me, I can't think of that artist or I can't think of that track name.
So do you ask Siri?
Yeah, that's why I got an Apple Watch, you know. With a laptop, I can just punch it in, or I can go to a history where I think I know that track was, and it helps me find the tracks I want. You know, because the last thing I want is like, okay, well, I can't think of that track. Okay, well, let me just play this one. And then it's not really the track I wanted to play. So I find it gives me, especially the older that I'm getting and my brain doesn't work so great, it's to me, laptop, it helps me better. It helps me with my versatility and my flow. I like playing what the audience wants, or I like playing what I feel the audience wants to hear. At the same time, it's my job to take them on the journey. So it's give and take. I like to give an audience what they want to hear, but at the same time, they are there to hear what I have to give them. So I like creating that balance, you know. So at a big festival, you know, we've got maybe 8,000 people, 10,000 people. You're only going to read the first 5 rows of that dance floor. Anything past 5 rows, you don't really see. It's just a mass. So if the first 5 rows of that dance floor is not really going, then you know that you need to change something, you know. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm versatile and I don't stick to one thing. And having the laptop with me allows me to have the versatility where USB, you can still have it, but yeah, it's to me, it's just easier trying to find it on a laptop than through on a screen.
Yeah, I remember when I played on some controllers of the Pioneer record box, you need to export it differently or change a setting for different controllers. And I played a gig where it obviously didn't. I asked if it was a Pioneer, and they said yes, but obviously it was not. It was a really old one, and it just showed the folder structure of how it stores the music, not the playlists that you have made.
My God, okay,
so I literally had to like go through every little folder, you know, like album, artist, track, and then find. And like I was like, oh my gosh, my whole set was literally just that little jog wheel trying to find the music.
And it's stressful,
man. It's like you're like, oh, I've got 2 minutes left. I still have to find the track.
Exactly.
And
I've been there,
and then no interaction with the crowd, and like that. Takes away from your energy, and then your energy that you give is diminished, and then the crowd sees and feels that as well, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, if you stress playing there up there, and you stressing just to get everything working and have it managed, you know, and less crowd interaction, they're definitely going to feel that. And having that stress playing a set is, you need all the energy and the focus on your journey and the set that you want to play. You don't still want to have to worry about software and is this going to play, you know. Yeah, so it is a nightmare. I know a few guys have had that problem with Rekordbox. It's nice.
And for guys who do use Rekordbox as well, I've had the analyzing is throwing the grid off too. So every time I do a set, I analyze the tracks and then I go per track and reset the grid if it's not aligned, because I've had some times where you think it's analyzed correctly, and then you go to play it, and you're using the quantize or whatever, and then it throws off the beat because it's actually not in sync. So then you have to actually like jog that back in because the software hasn't analyzed the track correctly. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, lots of good tips for you guys out there. And then, talking about festivals and that, what's been your biggest accomplishment so far playing at festivals in the history of playing? Which is your favorite festival you played at?
There's been probably on my hand that I can count now in the years that I've been playing, there's probably 2, maybe 3 big festivals that I've played at that really stood out for me. I mean, obviously getting into this game, was always a dream, to actually, the end game was to play at a festival, to get booked to play at one of these festivals. And the first one that really blew it for me was Resonance. Alien Safari was 2015, 2016. It was my first big dance floor. If I'm not mistaken, I think there could have been about 8,000 or 9,000 people. That really blew it for me. It was a massive stage. I had a lot of fun. It was such a great festival that, to the point, the photographer that actually caught this really epic shot of me, I actually got a hold of him and I asked him, please, can you send me the image of this? And I actually had it blown up and put on a canvas, which is still hanging on my wall at home.
Awesome.
And that every time I look at it, people come over and they're like, "Whoa, that's epic! Where was this? Is that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." And you can see me there. And to me, that was a big thing for me. And then coming in at, I have never ever had another canvas done. I've played other festivals and I've never ever bothered to do it. And then now recently, end of January, playing for Origin. And that was probably, I can't say which was better, because they're both pretty much on par. Origin was really fantastic. Probably the most flawless festival that I've ever been booked for and been a part of, from everything, A to Z, boxes were all just ticked, it was an absolute flawless festival. And there was also a photo that was taken of me. And again, messaged the photographer, sent it to me, and that's also now going to go up on a canvas. So there'll be 2. It was a big thing for me that I wanted to play. I wanted to play all the big festivals in South Africa, and Alien Safari, there was a box ticked. Playing Vortex a few times, that was another box ticked. Getting to play for Organic, that was another box tick. That was amazing. The Friday night was great. We all know Friday night was a jaw. Was really, that was epic. I was super happy with that. And then getting the call to play Origin, that was a massive thing for me. I've been trying for ages to get onto that lineup, and it finally happened. I think there's probably 1 or 2 left that I still want to play. But yeah, hopefully that still comes in the future.
Which ones are those?
The one that I haven't played is Vortex Easter. Okay. Never played that before. I'd love to play it. And I think it's probably just that one, actually. I've been blessed enough to play Durban festivals, Joburg festivals, and I think Vortex Easter is probably one that I still want to do. If it so happens that I get Vortex Easter, it's probably safe to say that I've played every major festival, and to me that's a big thing. It's was never in a million years back in the day when I was a little punter at 3 Arts raves. Never in a million years that I think that one day I would actually be up there. So it's been hard work. It's taxing. It's taxing as a DJ when you start getting to that level, because a lot of people, going back to tips for new guys, everyone thinks, it's glamour, and it's, you're living the lifestyle, you're this big name DJ and all that. And actually, yes, it's great. You get the reward from playing for a dance floor like that, but it's a lot of hard work. It's not just getting up there and playing. You're doing your homework, and you're prepping your music and what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Especially now as well, like social media.
And social media,
that's just like a job in its own.
Absolutely, and you're forced to do it. You're forced to do it. It's
back in the day, like you go and like create a demo. Like I remember when I was in the UK and like I researched how to create a demo and give it to a promoter. And like back then, obviously, with vinyls, it was a little more of a different approach when guys were doing like recording and then putting in CD, making artworks for it, like a little business card, then going to these events and meeting the promoters and giving the CD to them. And
that's how it was done back in the day. Yeah.
And then like obviously networking with other DJs and promoters and building your name within the network. But now it's like you essentially have to build your name on a global scale on a social media platform and like keep up with this algorithm and posting and videos and
it's a full-time
stories
job.
And like, oh my gosh, it's like so much stuff. That's a waste of time, but not, because you need to be doing it in order to get that visibility.
You're almost forced to be socially active. You need to have an Instagram account, you need to have a Facebook account. Everything is now online. But like I said, back in the day, you would rock up, you buy a whole lot of cheap USBs and you would throw mixers on, then you would go and meet the guys, give them the USB or give them a CD or whatever, and those days are gone.
Now I get messages like, hey, here's my set. I'm like, okay, so what about your sets? Who are you? Like, do you actually have any professionalism behind and respect for yourself as actually like, I'm approaching a label or a promoter, how would I do this to get his respect back and also showcase my product,
Absolutely.
And many guys don't know how to do that. They just like, nowadays, just let me random message someone like, here's my set. Okay, cool, sweet. Everyone's a DJ nowadays. So what makes you special? Like,
Absolutely.
What are you doing differently? Like, promote yourself. Same as you'd have a CV to go to a job, isn't it? Like the same thing.
Absolutely. And I think it's important as well for anybody that wants to get booked to go and play at a certain party. You need to attend. To go and see what that event's about. Because if you've never been to that event, you don't know what's being played. So if you're just reaching out to the promoter, hey, here's my set. How do you know what's been played? For all you know, the set that you've sent is either not fast enough or it's too fast, And it's better that you actually meet the promoter face to face, because then you can put a face to the message. And then at the same time, the promoter is like, okay, well, he has made the attempt to come and see what we're about. Then maybe, send a mix or a message.
Also showing that you are interested in the scene and interested in the parties and the people that attend them, and showing that you have a following, you have a network of friends, you communicate with promoters and the crowd, everyone's part of this machine that works. And for someone to just bedroom DJ and then throw it out and everyone's going to book him, you need to show that you're involved, and some guys show that they're involved by doing their own events, maybe not going to other events but creating their own events.
It's all about give and take. Good. It's a sharing of energy. I look at it like that. It's a sharing of energy. You go and support, you show a face, you show there's an interest. If you're not going and supporting, like I said, do something, host an event, book some artists, give something back, instead of just wanting to take by getting a booking and getting paid and then play your set and then leaving, So you gotta give the energy. You gotta give the energy to get energy. So to me, that's very important, And it's not something that has to be done all the time. So once you're established and once you get going, then the word starts getting out. People know who you are, and then eventually you will start getting booked. But there's times that, even myself, there's times, I still go out to events because I want to see that particular artist. I haven't seen that artist in a while. So it is very needed at the end of the day, to get yourself out there. You got to show interest. And
have a good time while you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Smash some tequilas,
Origin was epic though. That was one amazing festival.
Hands down the best festival I've ever been to. It was absolutely flawless, from clean toilets to the artists to Karen that did the decor, the
tiny
venue.
little activations around as well.
That was really fantastic. It's cool. It was really, from everything, just all the boxes were just ticked. From weather, everything just played along so nicely.
Perfect weather. Jeez.
No, it was absolutely fantastic. All the artists played fantastic. It was even the general people that were there. They were just so friendly. Everyone just everyone was just there to have a good time, So yeah, you can definitely feel the love and the energy and the right intent that was put into that party.
Yeah,
it was really, really great. I'd have blast.
And then just mentioning Organic as well. This is his after movie from Organic, where we did our first label showcase at a festival, and like pretty much the music from the Friday 4 p.m. till Saturday 8 a.m. was all of our label artists, and this is Dan's after movie that was made. How was your experience at this festival?
It was
crazy dance floor. Crazy rain.
Yeah, it was. The weather was.
People still pushed through.
Absolutely.
Epic,
it didn't stop them. The rain was coming down. It was. That's probably why you'll see I look a bit shiny there. It was the mist of the rain. I was getting wet, but it was great. It was high energy. The sound on stage, the monitoring was just epic and
insane stage.
I loved
the decor was mental.
It was insane. It was also very well sought out. Everything worked from stage managing to. It was great. I had an absolute. Organic was fantastic. I had an absolute blast. The damp weather didn't dampen the mood.
No. Never, all the PsynOpticz guys blasted it from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Guys were there with their jackets and their hoodies, and that dance floor was going. It was it was full power, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I look forward to the next Organic.
Absolutely,
it's gonna be even
absolutely
better.
Yeah.
But 100%. It seems like a few parties have been nailed with the rain. This season's weather has been pretty random, for summer rains, it's been pretty crazy. Yeah.
No, storms, and it's been absolutely crazy. I mean, a good couple of festivals this year. Probably the worst year that I can ever remember for festivals with weather.
Summer rain, it's just
And this is the thing with Cape Town. For anyone overseas doesn't know this, every good couple of years, every 10 to 20 years, there's a cycle that Cape Town has where it's these massive Cape storms that comes through. And it's like an act of God. It's freak that comes through. It's like I would say every 10 to 15 years where we have this massive flooding. And that is what happened this year. Now there was so
how random was it only on the weekends?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like crazy. The week is good, and then the weekends, I'm like, what? Like the way? Surely the rain doesn't be like weekends coming.
Yeah,
everyone can work, and then what? Come on, pour in the week, man.
And it's especially the location of these venues. From where I stay down by the coast, and you got to drive at least an hour to get over into the mountains where they have all the festivals, different locations, and the weather is night and day difference. From the coast to where it is.
You leave Cape Town Central and it's sunny, and you go there. And
absolutely, and it's the middle of winter.
So what's it? Cape Town's 4 seasons one day.
Absolutely,
drive around
and that's
with
exactly
an hour, and it's different weather everywhere.
So going forward now, you'll see by next season, it's the next couple of years, you won't have that,
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate, but they did a fantastic job dealing with what they were dealt with.
Yeah.
And everyone that was there still had a blast. I know we all had a blast the Friday.
I only heard good things from everyone, and
100%.
It's really amazing. So I'm really looking forward to the next Organic. It's going to be next level for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. I think the next season is going to be, I think after COVID, things are slowly building up some momentum.
Yeah.
And obviously everything's so expensive, and people are attending, being more specific on what parties they're going to budget-wise and so on.
Yeah.
But I think next season is seeing the growth back into the industry again,
absolutely.
Which is really good.
Obviously COVID definitely ended a lot. A lot of things closed, a lot of productions not doing parties anymore, restaurants, places closed. So it was really unfortunate. I'm not sure, not just in Cape Town, probably all over the world felt this. But like you said, now that COVID's over, people are starting to wake up and they're starting to get their groove back and the flow is starting to come back. So I think next season we're going to be in for a cracker, an absolute cracker. We're not going to have this 10-year, 15-year flood of storms coming through. That's past. So winter's coming now. I think we're going to have a cold winter. Going into summer, I think it's going to be warm. Festivals are going to be back in full swing.
So any parties coming up in winter that you can recommend to anyone?
When it comes to winter, it's generally. I mean, look, Vortex used to do the winter parties, but they no longer. They're not. As far as I know, they're not doing anything.
We need a good like a Get Effects back again.
Oh
like
yeah,
we need like a good indoor location that's like is a psytrance club that has what we need in it, because a lot of clubs now in Cape Town, it's like a boutique experience. You know what I mean?
That's
200 people. So like we need a space that. What I loved about Get Effects, like pool tables, a big dance floor, nice big space, like upper 100%. Terrace, bottom, like
you need a place that focuses on psy.
Focuses on psy, and also it's not just like go to a club to jowl and dance and drink. It's like there's other experiences that can happen in that space.
Absolutely.
You can chill and have a hubbly bubbly, like go and play some pool, dance on the dance floor.
Absolutely.
Like all of the big clubs have closed in Cape Town.
Yeah, and it's again because of COVID,
But even before that, it stopped, like the scaled clubs, even Trinity, remember? Like the Super Club of Cape Town, it couldn't handle. No, Cape Town can't handle these big capacity venues all the time. But although when we had them, it was always full and there was always parties going on.
Right.
We need something like that for Psytrance, like a location where multiple promoters can rotate and do different things, but have a good location,
I mean, look, there is a handful of clubs that are now happening in Cape Town. So obviously when it goes winter, as you know, when it goes winter, everything moves indoors, then you get these pop-up little production parties at these clubs and these venues. And to me, I think it's great. I love the idea when it comes winter and the psy community starts getting quiet again. So yes, the clubs are there for guys that still want to get out and hear the music and have their fun, which is great. But at the same time, it also forces people to rest and it forces them to just relax a bit and save their money, because when summer comes, then you've pretty much got a festival almost every single weekend in summer. And that costs money, and at the moment with Cape Town and the finance, not everyone has that cash, that is going through a bit of a tough time, for a number of reasons. So to me, going into winter is great. It lets people save a bit of money, lets them relax, lets them recharge. And then come summer again, then you've got your full-blown festivals when you want them to be recharged and their pockets to be full of cash,
Not for sure. Or do we need a rest?
I think we need a rest.
Man. And so are you going to start making music? Do you have any inspiration on that side of things? You just want to DJ because you've got multiple projects and kids and work and everything, like a lot on the plate, like, are you interested in that or are you just interested in focusing on your DJing projects? Because obviously you've got a few projects on the go,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of projects on the go, and I mean the one's a hobby, and then the other two is obviously Dan Scot, and then I have another one that does progressive. But obviously having a day job, being a father, a boyfriend, it all takes a lot of time, and recently starting a new job, a lot of my focus has been on that. So having a lot of the focus on that and having the focus on being the DJ and providing the people what they have come to expect from Dan Scot, keeping that energy up. There's just not enough time in the day. And a lot of people have asked me, so when are you going to start producing? Are you going to start producing? And yes, I'd love to start producing. And it's really something I want to do. But at this stage, the time that it needs, I just don't have the time that it needs for me to give it. If that actually makes sense. But so I need...
Oh, because it's a serious commitment.
Yeah, it's an absolute serious commitment. And it's almost like, well, then I will have to actually start cancelling gigs, not taking on gigs to free up time to be able to do this. And to me, I don't really want to do that. My love has always been to performing for a crowd. So I will still keep the DJing going. But I can tell you this, that... if I get to the age of 67 years old, I'm still going to be in this game. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So production is definitely on the cards. It's just I'm waiting for my plate to clear a little bit. And I'm definitely going to start getting into it. So I might be old and grey and there'll be albums coming out. Trust me.
I'll retire and make the millions and then you can write music and just...
I'll be in my wheelchair with my walking stick and I'll be producing. There will, so it might not happen now. It might happen a lot later. but it is definitely on the cards. It's definitely something. It's my next move.
I think when you get to that age as well, then you can just make an avatar that goes and plays the gigs, and you're just at home.
Yeah, I was got a cutout board. I'll get my son to stand there and hold it up.
Somebody send your hologram.
Yeah. Oh man,
because it's very interesting, like where AI is going at the moment with production, guys using it for writing melodies, full tracks, like voiceovers,
it's mind blowing.
Like avatars. It's really crazy.
It's scary.
So it's actually like literally with like holograms and AI and that, you could probably create a DJ alias or whatever that you send and you project on stages that you don't even have to be there.
Nothing would surprise me anymore. I mean, the way AI is going and what I see it doing with these artworks, putting just typing something in, and within a minute, not even a minute, it's giving you something that, how is that even possible? How did it think of that? It's crazy. It's scary, So if that's what's happening with art, I've seen YouTube videos with AI video that it looks so real, and I just can't help go back to the days of Terminator and Skynet. I'm like, that shit scares me, I'm like, no. So if it gets to that point where producers are relying on AI and it's AI that's creating that kind of music, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to hear what this thing can do. But at the same time, I'm like, nah, I want to hear something that's man-made, human-made.
Well, if Traktor, I'm sure Traktor and Pioneer will introduce AI into their DJ software, it's a possibility for sure with regards to the analyzing the tracks, or like saying like, okay, giving you options for different crossovers, and say, I want a long crossover, a short crossover.
Yeah.
Like if it's happening in every other technology department, I'm sure in the DJ environment, it's going to happen too, and then I'll obviously transfer that onto CDJs, and the software on the CDJs will change. So it's going to be interesting where the music industry is going to go, and like from DJing to producing to live music, and it's definitely we're living in a very interesting time.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, what you want to play a track, and then as you're busy queuing up the next track, this little voice prompt says, "We highly recommend you do not play this. This does not,
Dancehall is not reacting right now.
Yeah.
Play this one."
Yeah, no, I couldn't. But yeah, interesting times indeed. Definitely, it's. But again, it's scary, man. It's scary the way it's going.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And you talking also about promotions and social media and all that kind of stuff. Like you're pretty good at that. Any tips for guys that are looking to promote themselves as an upcoming DJ or producer, like from what you do? Because you run a few pages, Instagram and Facebook, obviously TikTok starting, all that stuff now as well. Because that's where it's at with regards to marketing promotion. It's no longer like flyers and CDs and all that stuff. So, like, what can you recommend to guys?
A couple of years ago, I would definitely recommend, yes, you're on Facebook, get a Facebook page. But what I'm noticing now is interactions on Facebook pages, unless you're very, very big and very, very established, are your Facebook pages getting traction? But for somebody starting out, yes, get yourself Facebook. It's a great communicator. Get yourself a Facebook page. And with that being said, definitely Instagram. Instagram is weird because one day you get a lot of traction from doing an actual post on your feed. And then there's days that you don't. The days that they don't, Instagram stories work very, very well because it's quick, short bursts of entertainment, or, whether you're walking along the beach or whether you're traveling somewhere or whether you're actually sharing your mix or videos of a gig that you've played. So it's important to have an Instagram account. It's also important to have a Facebook page. Facebook page, obviously, anything you can share on there, whether it's a mix or a link to your SoundCloud. SoundCloud, definitely you need a SoundCloud. A lot of guys prefer Mixcloud. So whatever your preference is, Mixcloud, SoundCloud. So basically, in a nutshell, Facebook page, a music platform, whether it being SoundCloud or Mixcloud, Instagram. And recently, I've started firing up a TikTok account. And no, it's not to do silly dance moves. It's purely, as another platform, for videos and after movies and gigs that I've done. to put up video, because it has a whole different market and group that it reaches, So I'm covering my bases everywhere, And at the same time, as not putting your eggs all in one basket, because let's say, for argument's sake, I doubt it'll ever happen, that something happens to Facebook or Meta, obviously Meta owning.
Well, it happened the other week, and I was hoping it was down for a week. I was like, yes, no more social media, like, for a week. Come on.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, I mean, if Facebook goes down and the pages and WhatsApp and Instagram all goes down with it, what are you left with? How are you going to, we're living in an online world. So as a backup, I decided, let me just play around with TikTok. Let me get it going, And just to give you an idea, I started up a TikTok and I put up a video, and within an hour, it had literally close to 1,000 plays, over 1,000 plays. And I didn't do anything fancy. I just loaded the video up and put a little description. Whereas that same video would go on Instagram, and within an hour, it maybe had 150 views. So it's a whole different market reach. You get a lot of reach on TikTok. And I've recently read somewhere, it was probably a feed or something on Facebook, a website or something, and there was a whole breakdown of TikTok. And apparently TikTok, they've said that they're actually starting to give a lot of focus to artists and the music world, as opposed to everything else that's on there, which is great, Because
being throttled on Facebook and Instagram, basically, unless you pay, it really sucks, because you're putting all this effort into creating these reels or stories or posts and to try and reach your followers, and then no one sees it.
Yeah.
And it starts becoming discouraging, because you're like, I'm doing all this stuff, but not getting to the people that actually even follow me.
Absolutely.
So, like,
and even if you do pay,
I get like random people that like aren't even interested, that aren't even part of the scene or anything, making random comments or just spam bots and stuff. And it's like, so you're doing all this and trying to create this like community and get a niche following, but it's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I find TikTok, you get way more reach, and a lot of people are on TikTok now than they are on Facebook. So yeah, definitely cover it all. TikTok, Instagram. I mean, there's a lot of hard work to manage all of it. I don't sit on TikTok all day. Only time I'm really on TikTok is if I need to go and post something, or and I follow certain people that I follow, artists that I want to follow. So when I go down my feed, I see their content and I interact with it and that. But yeah, TikTok's a great way to get it out there. Instagram stories.
Awesome. No Snapchat funny faces.
Oh no, I deleted it ages ago.
So it's cool. So we got like some tips and tricks for guys that learning how to DJ with software and hardware, social media promotions and that. So it's giving people a little groundwork to get their projects on the go, which is really good. Festivals and talking to promoters and creating a little network.
Yeah.
And in person, no matter how much you're on social media and in your bedroom DJing and talking to people, you still need to actually see people. Like 100%. That's like very important.
100%.
You will never, we were talking about this the other day, like meetings on Zoom and Teams and all that. You can never feel emotion.
Yeah.
You don't 100%. Feel the person. Is this person feeling stressed or anxious, or are 100%. They happy, or like are they hiding something? You feel there's some energy exchanges happening in person. So when you go to a party and you connect to the promoter, and you can instantly know, firstly, if you trust this guy or not. You can feel energy from someone as well. Mm-hmm. That's important,
100%. Yeah.
So
I mean, going through a screen, behind a monitor, whatever.
With
it's
an
not
AI
the same.
avatar built in this guy, some dodgy dude in his basement.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah. So you got to be in person. And another big thing is that I find is you need to be patient with yourself. Don't rush it. Take all the time you need to learn your craft, get good at it, so that that when you're going out and you're giving that mix, that it is your best work, so don't half-ass it.
And you don't have to go for the biggest gig first, Play the smaller gigs, get used to the environment, how to present yourself on the stage, how to give your energy levels out.
100%.
How to also not be consumed by your LCD screen.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
a lot of the new DJs, especially on laptops, are screen watchers, and then you're losing the interaction with the people on the dance floor, and trying to feel that
important to
energy,
have that.
like it's definitely very important. Otherwise, you just put a mix on, don't need a DJ on stage, essentially.
Yeah, it's important that you get that interaction.
I think it's always been, if you've seen how in the psytrance industry, yes, but mainly like for like in the techno industry, like Carl Cox, look how his crowd interaction and that is insane. Armin van Buren, it's like all about like feeling the crowd and like showing them that you're into what you're putting out,
Absolutely, yeah.
Super important.
No, it is important. It is, because no one wants to see someone staring at a screen.
Yeah.
It's it just completely sucks the vibe away,
And obviously nowadays as well, like with all the crazy phones, like we're doing this with the iPhone Pro 13, it's insane. You just get a phone, film your sets. Like I always take my GoPro and then I move in different angles, and you can literally make your own little after movie of your gigs, try and build up that social media presence. And also for me, I do it as in like your history that you can look back on, like, geez, check that gig that I played, that's so cool. Like I always made them because I want to look back on that experience.
100%, especially with it coming back and as a memory, or you can scroll down your feed to from your first post. It's great to see how far you've come.
No, it's epic.
So yeah, it's but we were talking earlier before actually having this chat, and Colin was asking me basically why I wanted to join PsynOpticz, and I think I've been with the label now about 2-3 years now, if not longer.
Yeah, longer.
It's been a while. I mean, it seems like it was just yesterday, and a reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I find that for every person, you can be an artist. And you can be working hard as being an artist. And there's a lot of labels. This is for anybody now that's thinking of joining a label. There's a lot of labels that, you'll join a label, and a lot of artists expect the label to do everything for them, which is wrong. It's give and take. It's 50-50. But there's a lot of labels out there that don't really do anything. They don't really do anything for your name. And it was a very big thing for me to join a label that works as hard as I do as an artist. And that is one of the very big reasons why I wanted on PsynOpticz, because Calvin does a fantastic job behind the scenes, super busy at it. And to me, I know that he is working as hard as I am, which is great. And it's and at the same time, also the music that I play is very, it's got to be in touch with what the label's doing. So that was another big thing for me. So it's been fantastic so far. Really, it's a shot.
Awesome, man. Yeah, shot, dude. Lots of things coming. That's why we wanted to start this Mindscape series, so that we can start like building a bigger relationship other than like texts and phone calls and gigs and like that's like behind the scenes stuff, like showing everyone like what we're about, where we came from, like where we're going. I think it's super important, and it's
100%.
gives us like more bonding time to actually like try and figure out ideas, how we're going to build the label in a different way.
Yeah.
Share that with everyone, and hopefully also get their point of views and like what are we doing, like any tips and tricks you guys want us to actually share with you, or more information you want us to share with you.
Yeah, drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments, and there's we're trying to show more of what we're doing, and the world is all about media. And if you made it past the 3-second view, which is the stats that everyone is like at the moment, well done. You're still here.
Oh, big ups, man. Big ups.
You held in for half an hour.
Yeah. So, but it's nice to actually do something like this, which is just when Carlin got a hold of me and said, listen, we want to do an interview. And I'm like, great, let's do it. Because it's nice that people can see that I'm also just a human being, that a lot of people, I see them at festivals and, obviously they come up to you and they want to meet you, and it's great. And I love meeting people. I don't meet and get to speak with everyone as much as I would like. And so this is a great channel, a portal for people to get to know us and to get to know the label and the artists that from our label, So it's great. So yeah. So yeah, leave your comments in the comments.
Yeah.
And let us know. Yeah,
Give us a like, subscribe, and share. Should have said that at the beginning. Because that first 3 seconds is where you get that.
Yeah, that's it. So big ups if you're still with us, man.
But cool, man. Yeah, thanks for making it to the studio. Really appreciate it.
Man.
And yeah, we're looking forward to actually doing more of these. Maybe like have a 3-way conversation sometime as well.
Yeah.
Building more and more of these interviews. We're going to go through all of our artists and then maybe start inviting other guys, promoters, or other influential people in the industry as well.
Yeah.
And start just having like these chats that we're finding out more about the industry, more about the music, and how we can all grow together. And
no, it's
everyone
great.
benefit everyone. You know?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all a big family. We're all here for one thing, and that's the pure love of music and the passion for music. You know, whether we're playing it or whether you're dancing to it or whether you're hosting a party to have it. You know, so to have everyone together and to find art and it's informative. It's nice. You have a better understanding for it. So now when you do see us at the next festival, hey, I seen that guy on YouTube. You can come say hello. And
you're a YouTube rock star now.
So great. But thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in, dude. Really appreciate it. Nice one, guys. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks,
and
thanks for watching.
We'll see you on the next edition of Mindscapes. Have a killer week, weekend, night, day, morning.
Ciao.
Ciao.